As we bring you the latest from the war unfolding in West Asia, Iran has held a funeral for the country's most senior defense advisor, Ali Shamkhani, who was killed on the opening day of Israeli U.S. strikes of the West Asia war. He was killed alongside Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and many others. Shamkhani had challenged Israel after being pulled alive from another attack in Tehran in June 2025. He remained at the center of Iranian policy making during testing military confrontations and diplomatic endeavors. Khamenei had confirmed the 70-year-old former Revolutionary Guard commander as secretary of Iran's newly established Defense Council, created after last year's 12-day war.
Shamkhani was a prominent military general who played an important role. On the other hand, Mr. Shamkhani also had a significant role in the establishment of Hezbollah in Lebanon. Since I was mostly on the war front lines, he was my deputy in Tehran. Under the supervision of our martyred Imam, he was following up on matters related to the formation and organization of Hezbollah.
On Wednesday, Iran also held funerals for the military commanders killed by U.S.-Israeli strikes. The funeral crowds gathered at the symbolic Enqilab Square, where the mourners, many of whom were women dressed in black dresses, paid their respects under a ubiquitous security presence. However, with top military commanders laid to rest, the question about the funeral of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei remains unanswered. The original plan, announced shortly after Ali Khamenei's death, was confirmed on 1st March and included a three-stage procession through Tehran and Qom before Khamenei's burial in his hometown Mashhad, though the ceremony was postponed by the Iranian authorities, citing security and crowd concerns. On 4th of March, state television again reported that Khamenei's coffin would be placed at Tehran's prayer grounds for mourners, later postponed it to an unspecified time. Since then, the funeral plans have been revised several times. Foreign dignitaries, particularly figures linked to Hezbollah and the Houthis, have reportedly expressed their hesitation about attending Supreme Leader's funeral, as Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed in Tehran while attending former President Ibrahim Raisi's funeral. Earlier, we had spoken to Dr. Charles Kupchan, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations. Listen in to what he had to say.
Iranians have reason to be skeptical of diplomacy. Trump pulled out of the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Trump launched the current war at a time when negotiations were ongoing. That having been said, it is very much in Iran's interest to keep the channels of communication open because it is suffering, as we speak, a very punishing attack against all kinds of military targets. Oil targets on Karg Island, air defenses, the Navy. This is an extremely costly and deadly attack against Iran. I think everybody knows that this is a war that will ultimately end at the negotiating table. I wouldn't be surprised if quiet diplomacy is taking place behind the scenes, despite what the Iranians said. So I do think that we know that in the end we need a diplomatic endgame. I assume that that's taking place even if quietly.